Hey, Steve Dangle here, and you're probably wondering, as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, Steve, it's free agency day. What am I supposed to complain about? Lots of stuff, but this signing is not one of them because finally, Chris Tanev is a Leaf for 6 years. Wow, Steve, tell me more about this young player. Hold your horses. This video is brought to you by 888 Canada. 888 Canada wants you to know that they have a brand new YouTube channel that is updated daily, and you might just see my shining face on it, as well as Jesse Blake and Ashley Docking as we play Smack Talk Trivia. How did I do in the trivia? Did I do well enough to win? You'll have to see on the 888 Canada YouTube channel. Smack Talk Trivia pits us against each other. We don't just do hockey. We don't just do Leafs. We do baseball. We do basketball. We do all things Toronto sport. There's also Real Rumble, which is real fun. You'll have to check that out to see what I mean. And for whoever the loser is, hopefully not me, there are punishments. Maybe it's a tattoo above your bum at the back. That's where your bum is. Maybe it's a pie in the face. Maybe it's both. If you want to find out, head over to 888 Canada's YouTube channel to check out all of our Smack Talk Trivia and Real Rumble. Once again, it's me up there. It's Jesse Blake. It's Ashley Docking. It's a lot of fun. It's 888 Canada. You want the cons? You want to start with the cons? Let's start with the cons. Well, no, actually, let's start with the news, Steven. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Chris Tanev from the Dallas Stars, his signing rights at the very end of the 2024 draft. That was about 48 hours ago. That gave them an extra window to sign him, and luckily, with a little bit of time remaining before free agency officially opens at noon, they got him. The contract is $4.5 million against the salary cap for this upcoming season and actually the next 6 seasons. It's a 6-year contract for a dude who's 34 years old. Well, I guess we've started the pros and cons. Chris Tanev is 34 years old, and right before Christmas, that's December 20th, he will be 35. Does he have some injuries over the course of his career? You bet he does. He's 35 almost. 4.5 is not necessarily a lot of money to pay to a 34-year-old or 35-year-old Chris Tanev, and we'll get to that in a minute because he's a really, really, really good hockey player. Not entirely convinced he's going to be worth it at age 38, 39, or 40. Not necessarily convinced he's gonna be a Toronto Maple Leaf at 38, 39, or 40, and that's part of the hubbub about all this. But here's the long and short of it. Chris Tanev is the greatest right-handed defenseman the Toronto Maple Leafs have had in a very, very, very long time. This is a bit that I love going back to on the podcast, or rather I hate going back to on the podcast because it continues to be true. Off the top of your head, Leaf fans, who are the best right-handed shots the Toronto Maple Leafs have had in the Matthews era? Even go back to like when Morgan Rielly was drafted in 2012. That was 12 years ago, by the way. Who are the candidates? Tyson Barrie, Luke Shen, twice, Cody Ceci, Ilya Lyubushkin, Timothy Liljegren, Justin Hall, Nikita Zaitsev. You're seeing the absence of anything. Chris Tanev is immediately, I don't care if he this might still be the case when he's 38 or 39, immediately the best right-hander of that bunch. And this will tickle a lot of Leaf fans. He plays his best hockey in the playoffs. I like this exchange from Thomas Drance and Mark Spector because I thought it put it into perspective very well. Tanev, by the way, was with the Dallas Stars for this most recent playoffs, and he went to the Final Four. Drance says, Tanev is 34, yes, but he also just completely shut down Nathan MacKinnon and Jack Eichel in his head-to-head minutes versus them in back-to-back playoff series. Term is always risky with 34-year-old players, but when you're talking about Tanev, you're talking about an elite shutdown defender. Mark Spector chimed in and said, didn't Eichel have 7 points in that series? Not sure that's completely shut down. And Drance responds, he spent 47 minutes on ice head-to-head against Tanev at 5-on-5 in the series, and Vegas didn't manufacture a single goal in those minutes. That's the definition of completely shut down. Basically, yeah, Jack Eichel got points in that series, and it was whenever he wasn't going up against Chris Tanev, because Tanev is that good. Do you want offense out of the guy? Oh, well, that's silly. He doesn't really do all that. Chris Tanev has put up 20 points or more 3 times in his NHL career, and his career high is 28 points. In those 19 playoff games where he was such a good shutdown defenseman, he had no goals and 2 assists for 2 points. But they have Tanev for a reason, to shut down the opposition. And when you're spending all that money on Matthews and Marner and Tavares and Nylander, they better be able to produce instead of the 34-year-old defenseman you just got. Not to mention Morgan Rielly is still a thing. He's a guy who the team has. So what does that mean the Leafs D-core is going to look like this year? Well, it's rumored the Leafs are going to get Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I'll update you as that news arrives. It hasn't arrived yet. But okay, let's assume Oliver Ekman-Larsson becomes a Leaf. Rob Wong had this. First pair, Morgan Rielly, Chris Tanev. Oh yeah, buddy. Second pair, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Jake McCabe. Okay, interesting. McCabe played a lot on the right last year. Third pair, Simone Benoit, Timothy Liljegren, who, by the way, now makes $3 million. Is that better than what they had last year? Yeah. Who are the Leafs really losing? They're losing TJ Brody. He comes off the books. And then when you get into guys like Ilya Lyubushkin and Joel Edmondson, it's kind of cheating because those were trade deadline acquisitions. But if you were expecting like a William Carrier or a Matt Roy or a Brett Pesce, sorry. I'll maintain what I've been saying for months now. The Leafs need to sign more than one right-handed defender today, and they're getting one. And they're giving a substantial raise, more than doubling the cap hit of Timothy Liljegren to another one. OEL is good. We know that. He had a good career, and then it tailed off in Vancouver, and then he went to Florida, and he won a Stanley Cup. Shoots left. Let me know in the comment box down below what you think of this setup, because I think it's better. It's a step in the right direction. I think Craig Berube is going to have a lot of fun with it. They're going to be mean. Still not convinced it's cup worthy. Let's see. There's one more thing with Chris Tanev. A lot of people don't think that this contract is going to make it to the end. He has a full no move clause, and a lot of people are saying, well, who cares? He's not going to play the final 2 years, at least, of that contract. Well, the answer to who cares might be the National Hockey League. Frank Saravalli had this to say. 2 contract housekeeping items, since there was a lot of buzz today. If fake years, quote unquote, are added to a player's contract in his mid-30s as a method to suppress annual average value and or entice a signature with additional total dollars, NHL will monitor and pursue later if proven as means of cap circumvention. Example, if Leafs want to offer Tanev 6 years times $4 million, and the goal is to only play 3 years, winky winky, and spend the last 2 or 3 on LTIR, winky winky, well then, that won't be looked upon fondly later. We've been through this once before, hence the 35-plus contract rule. Out of the 924 players in the NHL this season, only one, Mark Giordano, played as a 40-year-old this season. He's also a little bit of a different case. Won a Norris Trophy at age 35. Hey, you don't know. Tanev could still do that. No one could honestly think that signing Tanev to a deal that stretches into his 40-year-old season would be a deal on the up and up. And 2, it is expressly prohibited in the collective bargaining agreement for a free agent to agree to a post-contract arrangement for services, say as a team ambassador or in a player development, as a way of working outside of the salary cap. That type of deal is outlawed, and the NHL would very likely also consider that circumvention. Here's the thing. Frank's right. Those are rules. Here's the other thing. The rules only ever seem to apply to the Leafs. Screw it. I don't care. I hope the Leafs do this. I kind of hope they get fined for it, just so we can have the discussion. You know what? You want to gather around? Let's all talk. Let's all talk about how Tampa won the cup and how Vegas won the cup. And you might say, well, they didn't break any rules. Oh, the Leafs just broke some rules? You got chat logs, text conversation, emails. You record them talking about this post-career arrangement. Well, what are you talking about? Besides, even if there were emails confirming that the Leafs and Chris Tanev conspired, that doesn't matter, and it wouldn't lead to any punishments like Colin Campbell, who is now a Hockey Hall of Famer, who was caught being biased toward his son. We've done this conversation already. I don't think what Frank Saravalli is talking about is going to come to fruition, but if it happened to the Leafs, God, wouldn't that be just so perfect? In the meantime, I'm not going to let that ruin my mood. Chris Tanev is a Leaf. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. More news today on this YouTube channel, and more importantly, SDPN. Head over there now.